And we're live tonight. We are talking about
naughty
real estate agents. We've got some great stories for you and want to get your feedback as well. Stay tuned.
Oh dear, this is a very, very sensitive topic. I'm not sure this one's been spoken about before. Agents behaving badly. What are some of the things that real estate agents do, that are maybe not so kosher? I have a list. I actually had heaps. I didn't know where to stop. I didn't know where to start and where to stop. But let's have a good uncensored discussion, Mark, about some of the things that we've seen that agents do where we feel like they're behaving inappropriately.
And join in. Feel free to join in.
Yeah, feel free to put your comments in, guys. Yeah. We want to know what are some of the things that maybe you've experienced if you're a buyer or a vendor where you feel like agents have misbehaved. And if you're an agent, tell us some of your stories. This is live and interactive, guys. Join in.
And it's a bit of a gas bag, but this is an opportunity where agents can find out where they can polish up a little bit. So it's not really it's more of a, let's have a chat, see what people like, see what people don't like, what gets up our nose, our customers' nose. How can we do better?
Yep, some observations.
Yeah.
So let's start off, Mark, with agents that talk badly about other agents.
Yes.
I want to tell a little story.
Okay, go.
I was doing a proposal a couple of weeks ago. Yes. And I was the third agent to go through. So a lot of vendors do get in a couple of agents, 2, 3, 4 agents. I was the third agent and the final agent. And the agent that came in before me decided it would be a really good idea to say not so nice things about me. And the vendor told me. And the vendor actually cut this agent off halfway and said, look, I'm not really, a lot of the things that you're saying, actually, I don't believe are true. I've done my due diligence. And I think we'll just stop the presentation right there. Thank you so much. You've helped me make up my mind. So, look, it can really backfire. It's something I feel very strongly about it. If a vendor is good enough to tell you who the other agents are that you're coming in up against, I will rarely say anything at all. And if it's a great agent, I'll say they're really good agents. You're going to have a hard decision here.
What if the owner asks you about your opinion? And this is probably a valid question because, if you're buying a television, you're going to go, hey, what do you think of that brand? What do you think of that car? So what do you think of this or that? What if an owner asks you about a particular agency brand and says, what do you think of that agent or agency? How do you respond to that?
Professionally. Always professionally. Because I was brought up, Mark, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. I think it makes you as an agent look really bad if you're saying, what? Who? What would you go with that agent for? That is super unprofessional. And I will say to them, look, I have to just remain professional. Or if they're a good agent and I'm up against some hard competition, I'll say, you're going to have a hard time. There's some really good agents there, but let me leave you with some of my standout points. Yep, always professional.
I've sort of got to go
What
down,
do you do?
I keep going like that. I'm sort of getting sore on the back of the leg.
No, you don't need to do that. Stand up. Mark's 6'4". Yeah, I'm short. I'm standing on
some books.
I've taken my heels off. What do you say, Mark?
I'd tell them exactly what I think from the heart. Like I think, sometimes I think what I try to do is not say what they don't do, but if they ask me about another agent, I'll say what we will do. Do you know what I mean? So I'll say, look, different type of agent. We are open 7 days. We service buyer inquiry. If you walk into our office and you want to see 3 units, we'll put you in the car and take you to 3 units. We won't see, I'll point out things we do above and beyond. I think that's important. I think, sandbagging. It's just, I mean, agents make a living out of it, but I don't think it's a sustainable living.
It's not my form. It's unprofessional. And look, I don't know that vendors would think very highly of an agent that is actually really bagging out another agent, because then what are they going to say to your buyers about the property? Like, I just think once someone starts with that kind of stuff, it's just, it's a no-go zone. I always try and I do stay very, very professional and just rise above all of that sort of stuff.
It's hard.
Yep.
And I just want to say good evening to Michelle.
Hey, Michelle.
She's never seen Monday Night.
Hey,
this is the Novak News. Monday Nights have been going for
Legends.
a long time. And Christopher Yanakis.
Absolute
g'day, buddy.
legend.
G'day.
Yeah,
thank you
he's
for
a real
compliments.
supporter. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. So we're talking tonight about agents behaving badly, and we're addressing some pretty spicy, pretty spicy topics here.
Yeah, and join in. Like,
Yeah,
guys, if
please do.
you have a good experience being an agent, if you have an agent where you've had a bad, like, just join in.
So I have a
Behaving
client,
badly.
and I'm definitely not mentioning any names, but I have a client, something happened today, and I had a client who had purchased off someone I'd sold for them, and they purchased off another agent, and they had a horrendous experience.
Yep.
I helped them purchase the property. Obviously, I didn't want anything for it. I just helped them out. And thankfully, because I intervened, they were able to secure the property. It was an awful situation. Anyway, my client decided to leave a, very honest comment, review.
Candid.
About the experience with that particular agent, and that particular agent has since contacted them and wanted to know why she wrote that. So, reviews is a very important part of our business, isn't it?
Huge.
Yeah.
Other things, sitting down at an open house.
Oh, what?
Eating a banana.
What?
Eating a banana at an open house.
Are you joking? Don't tell me that's actually happened.
No. Not smiling at an open house. They're all criminal offences in real estate, and it does happen. But I think, you know what? It's hard to be on game all the time, but that's what you're paid to do. Like you are not getting paid for a bad act. You got to be on point every time, smiling.
Yeah.
No matter how much pain you're going through, people go through ins and outs. At these open houses, it is showtime.
Absolutely.
Dress.
How many appraisals, Mark, I've gotten? Actually, I got called in for one today. True story. A buyer who came through 25 Bix Road in DY on Saturday. Literally this morning was one of my very first phone calls. He called up, loveliest person, got a house to sell, a beautiful home too. And he said, Lisa, we were shopping around on Saturday. We actually weren't even looking to buy, but we were looking for an agent who was going to sell, and you and your team were lovely. Can you please come and appraise my property? I'm going through there tomorrow at 4:00.
Well, you're shopping for agents. Chris said, Michelle said, sitting in the car. This happens. Agents will say,
You're joking.
No.
Agents are sitting in a car and there's an open home going on and they're watching. You're joking. That is shocking.
It happens. And guys and
that
girls,
is shocking.
Not sandbagging, but don't do it. It's not a good idea.
What? That is hysterical. All right, next one here. Dressing inappropriately. Okay.
Yeah.
So a couple of days ago, I put onto my Instagram feed about agents and whether or not they should wear ties. They shouldn't wear ties. Whether or not they should wear suits. We've seen some wearing no socks. We've seen some wearing no ties, no suits, capri pants, all sorts of things. And it was unanimous that agents should dress appropriately. But a lot of comments were saying, maybe not overdress for the area. So maybe if you're a country agent, you might look a bit weird if you're walking around in a 3-piece suit and shiny shoes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What do you reckon? What was what do the people vote?
No, absolutely should be dressed appropriately. So lots of people were saying suits. There was one agent who was adamant that women agents should be wearing stockings as well. But without a doubt, women and men agents should absolutely be dressing the part.
You got stockings on?
We're selling, no, but I'm wearing pants.
You don't wear them under, sorry. I don't know. What I know.
What? He has 3 girls in his household. Yeah. No,
I don't ever see stockings anymore.
Stockings,
Stockings that are out.
Well, it's summer, but I'm guessing I don't know. Anyway, that was just one person's comment. But agents dressing inappropriately. Guys, please interact with us. Tell us what your thoughts are. Should agents wear ties? Is it okay to not wear a tie? Should they suit up? Can they wear jeans and a nice shirt and a sports jacket? What are your thoughts? What's Michelle got to say?
If someone turned up, he'd open the house up. What he didn't realise is the vendor was watching from the house next door.
Right? Can I tell you? I can tell you now. I know for a fact that vendors will sit across the road and actually watch people going into their open home.
All the time.
Yeah.
If I had the time, I would.
Yeah.
I would, like if I was selling my place and I was like going out for a coffee, I would just suss it out from the street.
What do you think
for
about,
sure.
no, Mark, you're quite old school. Like you always will suit up, even if it's your day off and you're going into work, whatever a day off is, but day off going to work, you'll still put your suit on.
Friday's my day off.
Yeah.
But I wear a suit. What's your question?
What do you think about agents not wearing socks? Like wearing loafers instead of like proper suit shoes?
They're going to get smelly feet.
Well, what happens when you got to like take your shoes off and you're in
Yeah.
someone's house
You know
and
what
you've
I
got your
reckon?
bare feet
You know what
all
I
over
reckon?
their
I reckon the best behaviour, like I love when I get to someone's house, take my shoes off and they say, don't worry, please come in. Okay. But I think it's a really nice gesture. First couple of seconds, you just don't know culturally who the person is.
No, that's right.
It's just respect, take your shoes off. And if they say,
Absolutely.
no, that's fine.
Absolutely.
I reckon that's bad behaviour, not taking your shoes
we're
off.
dealing with, there's certain cultures that don't wear shoes. Some people just, don't like shoes inside their house, but certain cultures, obviously, you can't wear shoes inside a property. So,
What about saying no when they offer something to you? Do you want a drink of water?
Oh, no, I always say yes.
Would you like something to, no?
I always say yes.
I think you've got to say yes, just to build the rapport.
I think it's nice and I think it's
but that's
polite.
not behaving
Agents
badly.
behaving badly is what we're talking about tonight.
Yep.
Tell us about your funny stories. We
Yep.
want to hear going out and misbehaving in the community. Okay, so real estate agents are an industry that are known to party.
Yes.
Not like us old people. We like to go home and lie on the
Someone
couch.
at Bill Manly wear slides to an open house.
It didn't go down well. Wow, there we go. So agents that go out, right, out of hours, misbehaving badly, they're in the community. They might be down at the local, I don't know, football club, local pub. There's clients there. What do you reckon, Mark? What happens outside of hours?
No fighting.
Yeah.
If you're a brawler and you've gone to the local RSL club, surf club, soccer game, you're in the community, you got to,
we're
upstanding.
We're selling people's properties.
Yeah, even if you disagree with someone, just,
Yeah.
handle
So-
it like a lady or a man.
Can I tell another story?
Yeah.
There was a local real estate agency that went out for their Christmas party. And a girlfriend of mine, actually she was a vendor at the time, she's become a good friend, was working as a waitress at this local restaurant.
Ooh,
And
this is a
the chef brought out beautiful food. There was seafood, oysters, prawns, steaks coming out. And all the food went straight back in. No one ate a single thing. And they were causing the biggest ruckus. So no one ate. The food went back. The people that were there were not impressed in this very fancy restaurant.
Not even
nor
much
was the
alcohol
chef.
was consumed.
Yeah. Agents behaving
I've
badly.
got a good one here. Look, there's a good one.
What do we got? I
A
know an
LinkedIn
agent who
user
sometimes
mystery.
wears a baseball cap or hoodie, sneakers and shorts. Unbelievable.
Yeah, no
It's really
fighting.
interesting. This is a really, really interesting topic. Okay, let's keep moving.
You know what? These guys are human. These girls are human. Like you're not everyone's gonna be a scholar. But I just thought, it does come up in conversation in our office, and it is nice to bring it out and just surface it. And
we're not naming names. We're just talking about the community, the industry as a whole.
Yeah, and
I think this is right.
Nor are we
industry.
perfect. Like there's stuff that we don't do that's right, but you get pulled up, you don't do it again. It's interesting to talk about. So we're not pointing the finger, but we're just having a bit.
It's interesting to talk about. Okay, commission cutting, agents behaving badly, commission cutting. So agents that will just continue to lower their commission in order to get a listing low enough that they'll potentially be able to secure the listing at some horrendous percentages.
Yes.
Horrendous. I heard a
Yes.
story today about an agent that I came up against for a 2-bedroom apartment in DY who had cut the commission so low. I don't even want to talk about it. Had cut the commission so low. And, in the end, I just said, that's not the way I do business. You're not going to get the cheapest agent, nor are you going to get that service. But all I can say is you really do. You pay for what you get.
Yep.
So, commission cutting, to get business, yuck.
Hey, I had one where I was assumed to be acting badly.
What was that?
Agent selling a property.
Yeah.
Agent has an auction on Saturday. passes in, and then normally, you know, good rapport with the owner, put a price on it, sell it the next week, maybe later, whenever. The owner called me up on Monday and said, I want you to sell the property. So I went, okay, sign them up. And the agent went off his tree. Yeah, I guess rightly so, because it was really close to his or her campaign on the Saturday.
Yeah.
But I just said, you know, what could I do? So, and told them exactly how it was. And it wasn't like I was camping. I didn't even know of this property or this client.
No, the client,
when they went
absolutely.
to auction, I didn't even.
I can vouch.
Freshie.
The client came to you. I was there when you received the phone call from that vendor.
Still did nothing
and
wrong.
The agent, I remember, we're not going to name names, but the agent said, I will walk past you when I see you in the street. And Mike's like, what did I do? Like, the vendor called me. What would you do?
Yeah.
Interesting. Agents behaving badly. Losing business disgracefully. There's another one.
You know what? These guys and girls are emotionally invested. They're paying their bills with these commissions. They need the business. I can get being gutted, but...
Okay, so I have another story. Unfortunately, I did lose a listing today. The vendor opted to go with her friend, and irrelevant to what I thought about that, because they're not at all a well-known agency here, I said to the vendor, I respect you, I respect your decision, and I just want you to know that if you need me, if you have any questions or offers come in and you just don't know what to say, you call me and I will be here to help you. And you know what she said to me? I think I've made a mistake. That's what she said. True story. So she said, Lisa, I've signed the agreement. It's only for 30 days. And she said, at day 31, if we're not sold, I'm going to be calling you. She sent me the most beautiful text about a half an hour ago. So, you know, but the flip side is agents that turn around, and I've heard of vendors, some of my vendors that have gotten abused by agents.
They almost fight to the death.
Yeah.
Not really what you like to see.
Well, you know, and the thing is, it really just, if that's the way an agent carries on when they lose a listing, it just validates to a vendor why they didn't choose them in the first place.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how many listings, Mark, have I cleaned up after other agents because of that kind of behaviour?
So much.
And they never forget that. They never forget that. You know, as agents, we'd love to think that we get every single listing that we go out for.
Absolutely.
But the reality is we don't. We all lose listings. And my approach is just lose them gracefully, because people will never forget the way you make them feel. So tonight, guys, we're talking about agents behaving
Andrew wears
badly.
stockings every day if wearing a dress. I don't think it's Andrew. I think it's a lady's name, but I can't read on the screen. Expand.
You need to expand that. Tony wears stockings. Hey, Drew. How are you guys? Tony wears stockings every day wearing a dress. There you go.
I thought it said Andrew. It was just cut off a little bit.
They're our friends up at Alice Springs Realty. Guys, these guys have been following our journey on social media, and now they are listing and selling more property off social media than they are off those portals. Look them up. They're going gangbusters, these guys, and we can't wait to get up and visit you, hopefully sometime soon.
We're coming.
Okay.
What else you got? Any other notes?
Talking badly to buyers and tenants. So agents that are obviously selling agents, and they think that it's okay to talk badly to buyers or talk badly to tenants when we're trying to get through these properties to show them if these properties are tenanted. What do you think, Mark?
Be nice. You've got to be nice.
Everyone's human. Everyone's a human being.
You've got to be effective. I think effective is a great word where, you're really a facilitator between all these parties. So you've got to understand what everyone needs, be effective, and not get the emotion get in the way of it.
You know, it's hard. I'm negotiating at the moment with a tenant who's really not happy that we've just listed a property. And he's like, I've got my job to do. I'm working from home. Like, there's nothing in this for me. And I said, you know what? You're right. There's really not. Like, it's really hard, and we will respect that. Let's see what we can do to make it a little easier for you. You know, we'll use some old photos that we've got. That's one less time we'll have to get through. But just treating people like human beings. I think there's, I've heard stories about agents that don't treat buyers very well, or didn't do the right thing by buyers. Buyers that have put offers in, agents never even got back to those buyers.
Ooh.
Yucky.
Okay, what's Chris got to say?
Interesting topic.
Being younger in the industry, countless times I've gotten spoken down upon when they've come in for an appraisal. It's disgusting. It's
Wow.
True. It's true. Yeah, I think age.
It's
I
hard.
think that's a good point. That one. Age. I think it is. It's hard for the younger people, guys and girls coming through the ranks, but there is a beauty there, and that beauty is that sort of freshness, that hustle, that keenness, and I think sometimes the older folk realise that there's not quite as much experience there, but maybe talent, and then they just get a bit. I think you've got to be, and I think
you've got the energy, you've got the hunger, and you've got the time.
Yes.
So let that be your weapon of choice, Chris.
Yes.
And also just, latch on to a more senior agent so that you can go in with them. So like with our younger guys,
Doubles.
Yeah, we go in together. So that
That's how you learn.
It is. It's how you learn. And also some of our younger guys have gotten listings because the vendor goes, I want to give that guy a go. And he's going to have time because, some of the senior agents have got lots of listings and, maybe won't give your property as much attention. So if you're younger, I think use that as your weapon of choice. But yeah, it's a really interesting topic, guys. Agents behaving badly. What do we got here? Jason Marachi, dress pants and polo shirt on Saturday, making the customer more relaxed. So that's interesting because we're here on the Northern Beaches.
So and Jace.
Yeah. So, and there's, but I'm just telling the audience, we're here on the Northern Beaches and it is a relaxed culture here, more relaxed than maybe in the eastern suburbs. And there are agents, 100%, that, will dress down because we're in a beachside area. And, is it wrong? Is it right? I don't know. I think, there's something for everyone.
Do you know what? I think it's all in combination. I think to take just dress, I think, I was talking to Billy this morning, the other day about it from our office, and he was saying, how do I make an impact within the first 15 seconds with people? And I said, you just got to work on all the markers. I said, touch is one. Eye contact is another, visual. I said, smell is another. Dress is another. All these things are hitting people within 15 seconds. If you really want to make an impact in people, do the best you can in all those aspects. If you think that's the best you are, as Steve Jobs in a black t-shirt and black pants, you're a weapon. Good on you. If you think you need to suit up in a tie and a shirt, a bit of that classic style, that's your personality. Good on you. But I think at the end of the day, being the best you can be is important because Jace, you're going to select the agent based upon not just what you saw feeling comfortable. You're going to be potentially choosing this person to sell your property and which is your biggest asset ever. So there are so many other senses besides dress. One, maybe that makes you feel comfortable. Two, all the other things that we've spoken about.
Yeah.
Really important.
And
I love that topic.
Dress, I think it really is area centric as well. So one of my girlfriends works in Double Bay. And so she can wear beautiful, hardcore designer suits. She can be dressed head to toe in designer because the majority of properties that she's appraising are $6+ million properties.
Yes.
If I walked in a Chanel suit and Valentino high heels and I was going and appraising one of my beautiful apartments in Pacific Parade DY, I think that could be somewhat intimidating. So I do believe that you've got to dress for your audience. I really do believe that. And we're not here to say, guys, whether that's right, wrong. We're just raising these topics that we talk about anyway.
Be the best you can be. Be the best you can be. So if that's, and you may in other areas excel, and in other areas you may not be as strong.
Yeah.
But that's cool. That's you. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
I can't say, I'm not going to stand on a stage and say, mate, you got to be in a tie, you got to be a shirt, you're not going to do any business. Rich to you. And like you said, you got different areas, country agents and things like that.
And you know what? Times change, Mark. There was a time when the guys in our office couldn't come in with this. with these beards. You'd make the guys go home and say, cleanly shaven, boys, or you don't come into the office.
Yep.
Now look how times have changed.
Hairstyles are going number one.
Now look how they've changed.
To do with that short.
No.
What else we're going to talk about before we go? Naughty agents behaving badly. Plenty of people viewing tonight. Guys, would love your feedback. Feel free to make a comment. We'll address it. But
it's a really good topic. So for those of you guys that have missed out, what we've covered this evening are talking badly about other agents. We've talked about dressing inappropriately, what you feel is inappropriate or appropriate. All right. That's, as I said, we're, conversation here. That's all it is. Going out and misbehaving in your community.
Remember this?
Misbehaving in your community.
Is that showing my age?
Yes, showing your age. Commission cutting. Agents that go, well, what's she charging you, then just keep undercutting until they get the job.
Can't negotiate their own commission. How are they going to negotiate your sales price? They're going to prostitute their commission. They're going to prostitute your price. Guaranteed.
I heard such a low commission today, and I actually said to the vendor, look, if that's what you're looking for, you should probably go with the other agent, because there is no way you're getting me to sell for work for a commission that low. I work too hard.
Yep.
Losing business disgracefully.
No need.
Abusing vendors. Yes, I have heard about this from my vendors. I've heard about it.
Yes.
And talking badly to buyers and tenants, big no-go. Guys, it's just a big no-go zone. Treat everyone like human beings.
Some buyers are really frustrating. You can get agents can get a short fuse with that, but like these are guys that it's not their core business. They don't understand. And not only that, that's how they do their business their whole life. Do you know what I mean? So they, like a buyer that's being a mongrel, sometimes if they're a bit mean to you and stuff, I guess sometimes that's people's
I tell you
way, their mechanism that they deal with things.
No, but it's not only that, Mark. There's buyers that we're dealing with that say, they've been so hard done by in the past by agents where they feel like they've been gazumped.
Yeah.
Or, they'd put an offer forward and they felt like it never even got to the vendor. They never even got, there was no negotiation on the price. There was no counter offer because the next thing they saw, the property had just gotten sold.
Yep.
The agent never even came back to them.
I just sort of one speed?
What's that?
Behaving badly.
What do you mean?
It's a behavior. If you are slow, it's bad behavior. If the client, if the buyer knows you're slow and the seller knows you're slow or thinks you're slow, you're slow.
Yeah.
And I think speed is just the biggest freshness that you can have with an agent. Just to go but, like in and out straight away.
Yeah.
Can I see the property straight away? Do you know what I mean? And one of the things I hate about agents behaving badly, I've got to say, is overqualifying the buyer. It's almost rude. Yeah. It's almost rude. Can you afford this property? It's like, how are you going to ask me that? Do you have finance approved? If I showed you the property, would you have the ability to make an offer straight away?
No.
It's like,
there's no way I'd be telling the agent. There's no way I'd be telling the agent
that. Imagine walking into a shop to buy a television and the guy starts qualifying you with questions if he's going to spend time with you or not. I think agents have to be careful.
That's a
very
good one.
Careful about qualifying
That's
buyers.
A good one. Yeah, agreed. And be careful, guys, with your social media as well. I think you'll note that Mark and I put very, very little about our private life on social media. It's all mostly 95% about business. On the odd occasion, you'll see, like it was our daughter's birthday the other night, but you'll see very, very little on there. You certainly won't see us dancing on tables, doing shots on a Saturday night on our Novak Properties Facebook or Instagram pages.
Not anymore.
So just be real careful with that kind of stuff. People are watching your social media, and whether or not they comment or you've got a lot of followers on there, trust me, people watch. And things will go viral very quickly if you're found to be doing something badly. Not that we were doing anything badly, but that TikTok video went viral. Someone called our office number, which is a 24-hour number, and someone did answer. But it was someone who was ridiculing our 24/7 we never sleep motto, and
2 million views.
He went viral. So watch out for that on social media. Trust me, if you're doing something badly, people will love to share that kind of stuff. So just make sure you are behaving on your social media. It's a very, very powerful weapon. I reckon that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
That's
Have
it.
a good night. Hopefully we've entertained you and you've learned a little bit.
And that's all that tonight was about. We're not calling anyone out.
No, definitely not. And thanks for your feedback, everyone. Plenty of comments tonight.
Thanks for joining. See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.